Hey folks, Mr. Garten here with a quick recap of Lesson 11, which is writing using textual evidence. Before you get started, there are a few tabs you're going to want to have open. The first would be the slides, obviously. You're also going to want a copy of the textual evidence writing, which looks like this. You also want your digital notebook to be out and open so you can attach something to it, and this copy of a summary and analysis of Saki's The Open Window, which we'll read a little more in depth later. All right, 2 goals today. You're going to respond to a prompt to create writing aligned to your goal, whether that's writing goal 1, writing goal 2, or writing goal 3. You're also going to use a mentor text to incorporate craft moves into your writing. So we'll start with writing sprints. In your notebook, in the writing section, you should take 3 minutes to summarize in your own words the short story you read for our class last week. If you can't find that short story, it should be in your drive. If you search short story collection, it's titled Your Name, First and Last Dash Short Story Collection. You should be looking at one of the 3 other short stories that we did not do together. Whether that's The Rights to the Streets of Memphis, A Kind of Murder, The Treasure of Lemon Brown. All right, in writing your writing sprints, it might look something like this. This is me after writing for 3 minutes a summary of The Open Window. Notice I didn't quite get to the entire summary, but I got most of it down. As long as you've got something to work with, that's all that matters. And then we look at this mentor text, the summary and analysis of Saki's The Open Window by Dr. Oliver Turrell. This is from the blog Interesting Literature. If you read through these 2 paragraphs, you'll notice a few things, maybe some style choices, maybe some good use of voice and some adjectives. But what I want to point you to is the use of present tense. So whenever we talk about literature, whenever we write about literature, it should be in the present tense. So notice the words, he has newly arrived. He will hide himself away. Frampton has gone round to visit. So that's kind of a present perfect. It's not past tense as my version of The Open Window was. Frampton Nuttall was a nervous person, had gone out to the country. So I'm going to go through and change all those things. I'm going to use the revision tool up here. So if you go up to the top right of your docs, you can move from editing to suggesting mode, and then anything that you change will come up green, and we can tell what exactly you've revised and what was there to start with. So take a couple minutes to revise yourself, and then we shared out in the chat. Obviously, you can't do that if the class is already over, so you can move on to textual evidence writing. So that textual evidence writing that was assigned to you last lesson and looks like this should be open in a tab somewhere. You're going to watch me very quickly go through and execute a response in part 2 based on part 1. This is the prompt right here. As you're responding, make sure that you're including a topic sentence with the author and title, 2 to 3 literary elements, and examples and explanations for it. So you'll notice in here, I have 5 boxes across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the first one, I've got the literary element. In the second one, I've got a more specific literary element. In the third one, I have the definition. The fourth, an example, and a fifth, an explanation. So we're going to take all of this stuff and can combine it into some support. So the first thing we need is the title and the author, and we're going to copy that and paste it into the beginning so that we can construct a topic sentence. So when I paste it in here, The Open Window by Saki, I'm going to restate and answer the question that's proposed by saying has a few specific literary elements. Then I'm going to transition into my definition of internal conflict, which I pulled from right up here, the struggle occurring within a character's mind. From there, I'm going to use a transition phrase like for example, and then I can just, if I did a good enough job in section 1, I can just copy this part as my evidence and copy this part as my explanation and paste them right in here. Evidence, explanation. Notice that when I put my evidence in, I've got a page number. I do not need the author's last name because there's only one author, one text that we're talking about, and I mentioned his name up here. Then I can use another transition phrase and talk about my second or my third definition, which in this case is dramatic irony, and move on. So at this point, you should be able to do the same thing using part 1 of your Lesson 10 assignment and complete the writing. Once you're done with the writing, go ahead and read this summary and analysis of Saki's The Open Window. In The Open Window, we have Dr. Oliver Turrell talking about an analysis of the open window. He does a lot better job than I did in those first 3 minutes, and even with those 2 minutes of revision. As you read, try to jot down 2 or 3 craft moves that you notice from him, and then try to apply them to the textual evidence writing doc from Lesson 10. Once you're completely done with that, you're going to take that doc and you are going to link it in your digital notebook under Section 2 by highlighting Link to and pressing Control-K to copy the link over to it. Once you're done with that, fill out your exit form and make sure that you read for 20 to 30 minutes tonight and tomorrow. You may want to start thinking about the good news you want to hear from your colleagues in Lesson 12.